Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Grindhouse Gutter here on the All American Spook Show YouTube channel. I'm Josh and I'm joined here with Donnie
Yep.
and the Professor Smoak.
What's up?
And Smoak, the entire reason we do Grindhouse Gutter here is for you to select a classic B movie or a cult favorite, something that would have played in the Grindhouses back in the day. So what are you bringing to us this month?
Oh yeah, this was a doozy, I think. Bruno Mattei's 1987 film Strike Commando, which is something to behold, I guess, if you're a fan of action cinema and trashy action cinema, rip-offs, Italian rip-offs of like Missing in Action, or what was the title you came up with, Josh?
I called it Strike Commando, Missing in Action, First Blood Part 2.5.
Yes, that's accurate. Reb Brown is the said Strike Commando, but I might as well go back to Bruno Mattei first. I don't know if you ever seen any Bruno Mattei films. He's Italian, obviously. Actually, first of all, he goes by Vincent Dawn. Even in the Italian cuts of some of his movies, with the Italian titles on the screen and everything, he still goes under the name Vincent Dawn. What did y'all think of Strike Commando when I you hadn't seen it before, right? Or Donnie said you said you did maybe, or maybe thought you had seen some of it, right?
I had never seen it all the way through. And when I was watching, I was like, I've seen bits and pieces of this. But yeah, never all the way through. This was the first time from beginning to end.
Yeah, same here. Like there might have been some random scenes or something maybe I'd seen somewhere else, but I don't believe I've ever sat down and watched this from beginning to end. But then again, maybe I have because I've seen Missing in Action and Rambo First Blood Part 2. So
yes, yeah, basically. I mean, it's been a while for me. I haven't seen it since video days. I think under Avid Video released it on VHS back then in the late '80s, whatever. But that's the last time I saw it.
Ransom is telling Lau about Disneyland, and he's just throwing out words. He's not even he's not even describing Disneyland. He's just like, yeah, cotton candy and popcorn.
Popcorn. They grow on the trees there. They get about the trees. You've never been to Disneyland, have you?
I don't know what the hell he's describing, but and there's a genie that'll grant your biggest wishes. What are you talking about?
This is well before. I'm pretty sure this was well before Aladdin.
Like you said, movies like this are worth it for certain scenes. I think it's all worth it for the end. And we don't do spoilers here like we do on the regular podcast, but yeah, that last 10 minutes or so, pure gold.
Yes, including all the way up to the last scene, just about literally of the movie.
Yeah. That's worth the price of admission. It's worth the hour and 20 minutes or whatever the time frame is before you get there.
By the way,
he doesn't just take on one set of commies. In the Viet Cong, right? You got communists. It's like two sets because you get Soviets get mixed up in it too, right?
No, just in particular, just one random Russian guy.
Yeah. Well, and I guess his girlfriend or whatever or whatever she was.
I guess whatever she was. Yeah. He just shows up.
And I forget. I can't think of his name. What was it? What was his name? Jakoda. Yeah, Jakoda.
How can you forget it? Because he screams it so many times. Jakoda!
When he's shooting them,
like 300 rounds into these Viet Cong huts or whatever, not hitting anybody or anything.
It really is like two movies. Like I swear to God, it's like Missing in Action and Rambo First Blood Part 2 just smashed together.
Yeah.
And then add in some other random stuff. But it's those movies, just smash them together.
This movie does drag on maybe a bit more than others. It is an hour and 48 minutes or something like that?
Hour 44.
Around 44, yeah. And you can tell at this movie too. It does, you think it's going to end here. This is about the end. It's coming up. This is the end. Nope. And then it goes on for another 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's at least there's for real, like at least 3 or 4 like false endings. Like, well, that's gonna wrap it up. And then nope, wait a minute.
Just nutty.
Yeah, and he's screaming the entire time.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I'm saying. He just goes from person to person that he hates. He hates Jakoda. He hates the crooked Colonel Radek.
Yeah.
Just running around and yelling Radek and Jakoda at all different points of the movie.
And there was that certain point when he's in the jail, not jail, but the pit, the Vietnam torture pit or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Where that guy he's in there with dies.
Yeah, that's what the hell, man.
and then Dakota just leaves them in there with the body to decompose or whatever.
You also mentioned something. It's like, who counts days like that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like when he's marking the days off on the wall, but like, usually when you see that, how do you normally mark them off? You go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then cross
and one
out.
slash
1, 2, 3, 4.
for 5.
That's 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he does like 6 and then crosses it out.
The only way I could think of is that nobody taught him that. Well, he didn't see the regular way, but I guess he was. Yeah, I guess he was going by the week, right? That was his week. Like,
Maybe I don't know.
But yeah, nobody else. Nobody.
I've never seen it like that though. Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
But we came here to see what your Grindhouse gutter rating is, and then how many choppas you're going to give it. Now we'll explain that rating system here in just a second. But what's your Grindhouse gutter rating first?
Gutter rating on this one, I'll go through. We've already kind of discussed all that those types of things there. It's just absurd action. If you've ever seen an Italian ripoff type action movie, whatever, you know what to expect with this one. It's not giving you too much of anything brand new that's going to be there for you if you've seen any handful of them, except for this one. This one's pretty much just like those. So action scenes, yeah, you get plenty of those, but the budget, of course, on these movies is not big, so you're not getting those Rambo First Blood Part 2 explosion type things. You're getting explosions, but it's going to be in some Italian forest, not necessarily the Vietnamese jungle. But yeah, so I mean, the Grindhouse rating, you've got one thing you don't have a whole lot of blood per se, although you have a little bit, and you have of course shootings and all that stuff, but it's not as bloody as some. Like, you don't have a bunch of squibs going off for bullet hits and whatnot. So this movie is kind of on that edge. It's on that cusp of Grindhouse and movie experience to home video, because really, I mean, 87 Grindhouse circuit was kind of, as far as in a lot of areas, was kind of coming to a bit of a close, mainly because of the video market sort of knocked it out of the park, so to speak. And this movie kind of feels like that transition period. It feels like those movies you would rent from the video stores, whatever, and not as much of a theatrical experience, but it did hit some Grindhouse screens at the time. But I would give it I'll give it a 6 for the Grindhouse rating. I mean, it's solid enough, but it's not going to knock your socks off.
Now, for the actual rating, what we do here on Grindhouse Gutter is it depends what we call it. Depends on what genre of movie it is. So if it's a horror movie, we do cleavers. If it's a kung fu martial arts movie, we do shurikens. If it's like a exploitation movie, we do X's. And if it's an action movie like this one, Smoak gives us choppas. So this is like your traditional star rating, 0 to 5, but instead of stars, choppas. So how many are you going to give out?
This is a hard one. Like I said, it's got its moments, but it also is a bit overlong, so it takes a while to get to some of those moments. Rewatchability, down the road. It's not one of those you're going to like turn right around and watch another week or two or whatever, or maybe not even necessarily one that you're going to like, tell your friends like, oh, hey, you got to watch this, and then watch it again. But every once in a while, I think I'll have to give it 2.5 on that. So it's one of those, you're not going to, like I say, it's not going to be a repeat viewing for you right away, more than likely, but it is worth watching every once in a while. So
that's it for this edition of Grindhouse Gutter. So what are you going to bring to us next month when we come back to the Grindhouse?
Oh, yes. Also, before I mention that too, I meant to also mention this a little bit further on, or the beginning of the show or whatever, that Severin Films put out this Blu-ray for Strike Commando, and they put out Strike Commando too. So if you're looking for it, you can find it probably streaming, but if you want hard copies of it, Severin is who recently distributed it. For the next episode, though, have either of y'all ever had an Egyptian blood feast?
Can't say
I never have, but I've seen a movie about it.
Yes, this one, right?
I think that's the only one. Yeah,
that's right. So Herschel Gordon Lewis's Blood Feast, and this is a big one in the Grindhouse world, a big one in horror in general. I mean, there's a lot of influences that have come from this movie. Hell, pretty much the entirety of the splatter genre was born with this film. So a lot of history behind it. And we've actually mentioned it, and we were talking about this offline, but I can't remember exactly what episode, and I'm pretty sure it was the home video spotlight, maybe on home video, that we had talked about Blood Feast being in there.
I'm sure it's probably come up more than once, honestly.
Probably has. Yeah.
The last 4+ years.
Yeah. I figure, and 4 years in, hell, it's about time we get to Blood Feast, I suppose.
Yeah, no doubt.
With the history of it. and probably no better place than to introduce it than the Grindhouse. And so after that, and I'm sure we'll get it at some point on the show because it is one that deserves a deeper dive.
Yeah, no question.
But yeah, we'll start with Grindhouse on it.
Well, so there you go. So come back next month here to the Grindhouse Gutter and listen to us talk about Blood Feast and see what Smoak's Grindhouse Gutter rating and how many. What is that? That's horror, right? I guess we classify it as horror. So that would be Cleavers next month. So yeah, don't forget to check out our latest Spook Show rewinds here on the channel. Also, Hammer Horror in order. All three of those series, this one included, every month here on the YouTube channel. And of course, every Monday at 6 p.m. East, new episodes of the All American Spook Show podcast come out right here on the YouTube channel and also wherever you get your podcast. So lots of stuff going on in the Spook Show universe. And we also encourage you, one last thing, to go over to aaspookshow.com. That's the center of the universe where you can access everything, archives, and we got new stuff coming. So for Will, who couldn't be with us, Donny, Professor Smoak, I'm Josh. We are from the All American Spook Show podcast, and we'll see you next month for the next Grindhouse Gutter Blood Feast.